The title of this video is not clickbait, about a Rolex. It's real. Maybe I'll post some pictures of it on my Instagram, but sorry, Mom. I dropped like 14.5 grand on a watch, pretty much on a limb. And in this video, I'm gonna explain to you why I did it. And so if this is your first time here, my name is Nick. I run an online consulting company where I teach baseball coaches how to monetize their skills online and leverage social media and online training. And if you want more information about my program, you can go ahead and check out the main video on my channel. But in this video, we're going to talk about this puppy and why I bought it. Because it's something that I've wanted for a long time. And honestly, when I first bought it, when I first pulled the trigger, I was worried that it was going to be a really stupid purchase, because realistically, it doesn't do anything besides look good. It's really just a flex. It's really just a flex, and that's why I wanted it, right? But to be honest with you, it's so much more than that. It's so much more than that, because for a lot of my life, I struggled with, and still do, self-worth, identity issues, and it's gotten a lot better as time has gone on, but for a lot of my life, I haven't felt like, things were, like good things were supposed to happen to me. Like I held these beliefs like good things don't last. And so anytime I had something good happen in my life, like, I don't know, win the starting shortstop job as a walk-on at the University of South Carolina, I played my way out of it because I thought that, good things don't last, right? I subconsciously believed that I wasn't good enough to be there. And so what did I do? I played my way out of it, even though I was 100% good enough to play there. Physically, mentally, not so much, obviously not, or else I would have played there, right? I mean, I guess I did start there, but I didn't stick, right? I didn't stick. And, as I've dove deep into my own mental psychology, as I've matured as a man, I realized that I never give myself credit for anything, any great thing that I do. Like when I tell people, yeah, I made over 250 grand coaching baseball on the internet, people are like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, it's not that cool, right? And you're probably watching this thinking like, Nick, if I could do that, like that would be amazing. I would be so happy. And the answer is probably you're right. You're probably right, but you're also probably wrong, because as somebody who, has done that and is now doing better in my current business, the goalposts never stop moving. Right? The goalposts never stop moving. But what I learned is that, I've always set up the rules in my life for me to lose. I've always set up the rules in my life for me to lose, no matter what. It's just like, no matter what the circumstances are, I'm like, oh, but it's different this time because I had it easier than that person did. And so therefore it wasn't a super cool accomplishment, or whatever the case was, right? I would go 4 for 4 in a baseball game and I'd be like, oh, it's because those pitchers and this and that. Like I would never give myself real credit for anything. I would always make excuses as to why, like, it was lucky or I wasn't that good or whatever it was. And it's because I had this deep, issue with my self-worth, with my identity, that I was never good enough no matter what I did, that I would never be good enough. Whatever good enough means, right? And what prompted me to make this video was I was at Easter lunch yesterday with some family, and I didn't want to wear this watch because I was ashamed, which is crazy to think about, to be 26 years old and be ashamed that you can afford to buy a Rolex. It's a 2023 Rolex Datejust Jubilee bracelet, fluted bezel. $14,500 is what it cost me. And I was ashamed. I can buy multiple of these. Like, this is not like a big deal for me. And that's not supposed to be a brag or anything like that. but I can 100% afford this. But I was ashamed. I was ashamed to buy it. Not even necessarily buy it, but I was ashamed to wear it. And that's exactly why I needed to buy this watch, because my entire life have been ashamed to be confident, been ashamed to feel good about myself. And so I bought this watch because I paid a mentor a lot of money to help me with sales. And it turns out that he's helped me with a lot more. And what he's really helped me with is the mindset of like believing that I am worth it, that I am good enough. Because I said in my last video, talking at the camera video, I said, how I made $50,000 in a month at 26 or something like that, some clickbait title. And that's true. Like I really did make 50 grand in February. I'll just say that on YouTube, who cares? I really did do that. And so the reward for that, because I don't usually reward myself, I'm trying to get better at it, was to buy myself a Rolex 2023 date just. Glows in the dark a little bit, actually. But that was a reward. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Like now I'm going to wait for 100K a month. But really I was just putting it off because I didn't think that I deserved it. I thought that Rolexes or nice watches were for people that were rich or people that were successful. And no matter how much money I've made, no matter how successful I am, I've always suppressed my success. And it's really unfair to myself. That's what I've learned. And so I bought the watch because my mentor was like, you made a promise to yourself that when you hit a $50,000 month, you were going to buy the watch, and you need to buy the watch. And now you're not a man who does what he says. And I'm like, oh, you got me, right? Because as soon as you come from my integrity, you got me. And so I bought the watch, and this is how it went down. So a little bit of context. A couple months back, I went to lunch with an old teammate at a restaurant here in Scottsdale. And after we went to lunch, I was just like, hey, I'm going to walk around Old Town a little bit, whatever. And I stopped in this like used watch shop. And I walk over to the Rolexes, and like this is before I had hit, my 50K month. Walk over to the Rolexes and I start asking the watch guy questions. I'm like, I'm not quite ready to buy this yet, but when I am, I'll come back here and I'll buy one. And I start asking him about the date just. This is the specific model that I wanted. It's on my vision board. If any of you guys know me, you know that I'm huge on visualization because everything, happens twice. But that's honestly a completely separate video, right? Is visualization. But, I put this on my vision board. I knew exactly what I wanted. I've been thinking about it for months and months. And I knew exactly how much it cost, everything like that. So, I go into that watch shop in January and ask a bunch of questions. I asked do you guys have the white face ever? Do you ever have the white face? And he's like, oh, those things fly. I'm like, okay, so it might be tough for me to get one here. And like, I'm looking online and like, it's almost impossible to buy a Rolex. Like if you've ever tried, it's actually kind of difficult, right? It's difficult to find one, to find like a nice one that you want and in good condition. Like it can be a nightmare. And so, I didn't think about it. I was like, whatever. And so, I had a couple calls cancel. I think it was like last Tuesday. Had a couple calls cancel and I had the evening off, or it was Wednesday. Had a couple calls cancel. I had the evening off. And like, typically what I'll do when I have the evening off is like, honestly, just like do a bunch of busy work that I don't really need to do. I probably need to be resting. Right. But I ended up going to lunch, or I guess dinner with my girlfriend at a shop at a restaurant in Old Town. And it's a beautiful day, and I'm like, hey, let's go for a walk. Like, let's walk around. She's like, okay, cool. So we start walking, and I see the watch shop, And I'm like, if they have the watch that I want, like, I'm going to buy something. Let's go in. Just like the shop closes in like 30 minutes. I'm like, I'm not really going to buy something. Like, at least I didn't think. And I walk in and boom, there it is, right in my face. And I'm like, that's the one. I just knew. I'm like, that's the one. Like, I have to buy it. Like something in my gut just told me. If you've ever got one of those gut feelings where you just have to do something, you should do it every single time. And that was one of those feelings. And I asked the guy, I'm like, hey, which one's your Datejust? I knew as soon as I laid eyes on it, I was like, this is the one, right? But I wanted to make sure. And I was super nervous. Like, I've never made a purchase like this before. I've made, 5-figure purchases before, but for coaching, not for something that's not going to pay me back. And I ask him, I'm like, which one of the Datejusts? And he like points out all the ones and then lands on this one last, of course, right? Because the story had to be that way. And I'm like, you don't see those white faces very much, do you? He goes, no. I go, how much? He goes, $13,900. And I knew I had to buy it when he said it was $13,900 because for a lot of reasons, the number 13 in my life has been something that has scared me because I've put all these limiting beliefs on myself that I was an unlucky person because I was born on Friday the 13th. June 13th, 1997. I was born on Friday the 13th. And I used it as an excuse as to why I've been unlucky my entire life. And so, I wore number 13 my senior year of high school. I didn't play that well, whatever. Like every time I wore number 13, or I thought about 13, or like I had the number dial on 13 in the car, I got nervous about it because I'm like, I'm an unlucky person. But it's just an excuse to not face the facts of reality that I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. I'm in control of my life. And then the number 9 holds so much significance because 999 signals abundance. I don't know if you guys are like super into numerology, probably not, but I wore number 9 my last 2 years of college when I was at Southern Illinois, and I hit 19 home runs when I was there. And number 9 is just a number that I keep seeing over and over and over again. And so as soon as he says it's 13,900, he goes, do you want to put it on? I go, no, I'll take it. And I bought it. I bought it within being in the store for like probably less than 5 minutes. I had already ran my card, swiped my Amex, said, take my money. This is it. And when I added up all the numbers, I was like, okay, like, let's see, like, I don't know, like I'm looking for reasons as to why this is a good purchase because I was so nervous. I'm only 26, like 14 grand on a watch. Like, dude, I've been told that that's a dumb purchase my whole life. I've been told that, save your money, keep it. And then I'm trying to unlearn all of these thoughts that, people teach you just to protect yourselves. But I'm learning from people that never had that much money. So like, I shouldn't be listening to them, right? And so that's why I bought this watch. Another reason. But I add up all the numbers and I get 9. It was like $14,586.75. When you add 1 plus 4 plus 5 plus 8 plus 6 plus 7 plus 5 comes out to 36. 3 plus 6 is 9. And once I saw that when I got home, I was like, I needed to buy this watch. Like, this is the exact watch that I wanted. The exact watch. And like every single time I put it on, it acts as a sign of everything that I've been through to get to this point. I lived in 3 countries growing up. I used to speak Spanish. I went to 3 elementary schools. I went to 3 high schools. I did a 5th year of high school. I broke my leg my junior year of high school, and every school pulled off me. And then I go to 4 schools in college and have this crazy path. And then I, get a mortgage job and I hate it. So then I, start a remote business with my old teammate, and he ends up pretty much stabbing me in the back. And I'm like, what am I going to do now? And then, now I'm running this consulting business and I'm having more success than I could have ever imagined. And I had a good chunk in the bank before I started this business, but nothing like I got now. And I bought it. And so for anybody out there watching this, I'm not saying that you should go out and buy a Rolex, especially if you don't have like a substantial, buffer, right? I can afford this. I can buy more than a few. However, what I am saying is that you are worth the good things in life. I always told myself only rich people have nice watches, or only successful people have nice watches, or only people that aren't like me are able to have success at South Carolina, and blah, 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 or whatever the case was, right? I've been the king of self-sabotage my entire life. And this watch is a symbol that I will no longer be that person. I'm a baller. Got the watch to prove it. If you want to do something in life, you have to do it. But you first need to change your identity. Because when you change your identity to be the person who is deserving of success, when you see yourself as that person who is deserving of success and is worthy of all those things, then all those things are a byproduct. Nice watch. Just applied for a penthouse here in Scottsdale. Just a normal 26-year-old who wants it really, really, really bad. And I will do anything to make it happen. And that is why I bought this watch.